Here was giant streamer Cenat talking about how Kamala Harris was trying to pressure him into an interview, and quite comically here, he explains why he just didn't want to do it.
And on top of that, I got the fucking Secret Service calling me 5 times. I don't know goddamn shit about politics, man. I don't know nothing. Hey, I'm gonna keep it a stack. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I don't give a fuck. Okay, listen, I had a bad...
All right, folks, here's a fun little weekend story for you. Apparently, Donald Trump has a brand new strategy, a little secret plan to win over Gen Z votes in the 2024 election, and it involves none other than Barron Trump. That is right. We'll give you the details here today. So, folks, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. But it's so funny because I said for many years that Barron is the future. Trust the plan. We're going to have a Trump 2044 coming along, and people laughed at me. You know, they thought it was a meme. It was never just a meme. I mean, it kind of is, but at the same time, Barron obviously is a very smart kid. His own butler for many years said that of all the Trump children who is most like Donald, it is actually Barron. And now our friends at Resist the Mainstream are reporting that Trump has a secret weapon to gain votes from Gen Z to win the 2024 election. I will read here from this article and give you those details. So, former President Donald Trump appears to be receiving help with this campaign from two unlikely sources: Barron Trump and his friend Beau Loudon. The 18-year-old son, along with his 17-year-old friend, are helping Trump's campaign by assisting him in gaining the votes of younger Americans, according to the Daily Mail. The teens, who are technologically equipped, have been working behind the scenes, briefing Trump about YouTube and streamer influencers who have millions of followers. And you've seen in the past couple months, Trump has done an interview with Adin Ross as well as Logan Paul. He did those interviews with the Nelk Boys and stuff back in the day, clearly trying to reach specifically the demographic of young men, who I've said for a long time are very underlooked by the Republican Party. You know, Fox News, a lot of the GOP establishment have this perception that the young generations are just lost. It's all a bunch of crazy liberals. I've always said specifically, there are many more natural Gen Z conservatives than you would think, especially among men. Sorry to the women. I mean, you're included, obviously, but demographically, numerically, is mostly young men. And now you see Donald Trump, you know, not banking the entire election on young men, nor should he, but trying at least a little bit to make an outreach, make a play for those voters, maybe stop the bleeding when it comes to the Democrats and young voters and how they dominate that demographic. And I think is something that is very smart. And we'll talk about that more in a second, but let's keep reading here. According to the outlet's sources, the duo have been speaking online with celebrities who the older campaign staff have never heard of. Barron and Loudon were responsible for the Trump interview with Kick influencer Adin Ross. So there you go. I think Trump even said that publicly on Truth Social. He said, "Thank you to my son Barron for setting up this interview," right? And it says their hard work resulted in the interview going viral, being the most watched live stream in the platform's history. The interview also resulted in Vice President Kamala Harris trying to copy the move, but being turned down by several influencers and streamers. And by the way, that is true. Here was giant streamer Cenat talking about how Kamala Harris was trying to pressure him into an interview, and quite comically here, he explains why he just didn't want to do it.
Be in a penthouse in New York. Then on top of that, I got the fucking Secret Service calling me 5 times. I don't know goddamn shit about politics, man. I don't know nothing. Hey, I'm gonna keep it a stack. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I don't give a fuck. Okay? Listen, I had a bad bitch that I've been trying to get on for like the last 3 years, the last 2 years that I haven't spoke to in like a year. I haven't spoke to this girl in so goddamn long, who gonna have the audacity to text me, "We need you a part of the campaign." At first I was thinking she was talking about like a game, a video game, like a Modern Warfare game, or some shit. Or If not that, a clothing brand. I'm like, what campaign? Shorty gonna say, we're not gonna get into details. Say it right now. If there's some way, somehow, something was to go into where I do the stream of politics, I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm going to sit on my stream and say, why did you guys call me? Like, you know, I don't know. I've never did anything with politics. And these blogs are like trying to say, yo, we gotta do this shit, God. And it's all the top blogs. But I'm like, bro, since when?
So yeah, say what you will about the seriousness of a Trump interview with Adin Ross, but clearly the Kamala campaign feels threatened because they're trying to do their own thing. They're like, okay, they got Adin Ross, let's get Cenat, only for Kai to react like that, which I don't know. I think that's also how I would react if the Kamala Harris people tried to call me 5 times, bribing me for an interview, which, by the way, Umar Johnson came out this week and admitted that Kamala Harris was trying to pay them for an interview, which is just crazy to think about. I never knew presidential candidates had to pay people to do interviews with them. You know, like, I've never heard of that, but whatever. Going on here, though, from this article, on Truth Social, Trump wrote that there were 100 million listeners in total. The duo have convinced the former president to connect with their favorite content creators, including YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul and Patrick Bet-David, the billionaire host of the PBD podcast, who I still think I'm waiting on that Trump interview. All right, Joe Rogan, whatever, he doesn't want to do it. Okay, fine. We need the PBD Trump interview for sure. So anyways, though, you basically get the point. Barron Trump is behind the scenes helping Donald reach some of Gen Z, which is sort of great to think about, right? A couple of years ago, it was Jared Kushner, the member of Trump's family, who was advising him. And now it's Barron Trump. How the tables have turned. You know, things just get better and better over time. But on the topic of why they are focused on this to begin with, the traditional Republican thinking is, forget the young people, they're screwed over, we'll reach them when they're older, but the young generations are a lost cause. To which I say, you know, again, you shouldn't spend your whole campaign trying to win over Gen Z. Like, obviously, it's still going to be a pretty heavy Democrat demographic, but there is evidence, as I've been saying for a long time, that there are way more conservatives, specifically Gen Z male conservatives in our generation than perhaps some people think. And this is a study I've talked about before, but haven't brought up in a long time. So let me bring it up here again. High school boys becoming more conservative, girls becoming more liberal, a new survey shows. So this is from CBS Austin reporting this. High school boys are trending more conservative in recent years, while their female counterparts are lurching to the left. Data from an annual survey of young people shows. In 2022, 23% of high school aged boys identified as conservatives, according to the University of Michigan's Monitoring the Future survey. That figure is nearly twice the number of boys the same age who identify as liberal. So keep in mind, there's a lot of people here, and if you're wondering why it's 23%, right? Some identify as independent, moderate, they don't know, they don't care about politics, but of conservative versus liberal, again, nearly twice the number of boys in high school in Gen Z actually identify as conservative than liberal. What does that suggest? Because you're seeing in the voting, in the elections, like the college towns go overwhelmingly Democrat. It suggests there is a turnout issue. There is an outreach issue where the Republican leaners in Gen Z, the men specifically, just don't really care to vote. So what are we doing with this? Why is he doing an interview with Adin Ross, Logan Paul? Why is he kind of making this outreach? Is because, again, it's not even about winning over hearts and minds. There already are sympathetic people to Donald Trump in my generation, and as this study is showing, way more than you think. The issue is we do not chase their ballots. We do not focus on turning them out. Well, now maybe you're starting to see the signs that we're spending a little bit of resources on that, right? So, and if you think everything is just getting worse in America and with younger generations, take a look at this. Historically, the survey shows the number of conservative and liberal boys has hovered around the same mark, but liberal identifying boys took a nosedive following the 2016 presidential election, dropping from 19% in 2016 to 13% in 2020, and it remains at 13% as of 2022. So what is literally happening? The young men are becoming more conservative demographically, and maybe that's why Kamala Harris was so desperate to do an interview with Cenat, but as you saw here, not necessarily working. The study does also show that young women are becoming more liberal than they used to be, and I think that's the part that we know. That's also the demographic that Democrats turn out very well, but I do think that if the GOP can figure out a way to turn out the young men, largely many of us who feel disaffected with the system, right? We've been beaten down all of our lives, etc. Maybe there's a way there to reach that demographic, and you see that is something Barron Trump is recognizing and trying to help out his father with. And take a listen. This is a snippet of the recent Trump Adin Ross interview where Trump now is making a direct case to Gen Z, especially men, why you should vote for him. Check it out.
I want you to basically talk in this camera, talk to them and explain why it's very important as a first-time voter to go out and vote and why they should vote for you.
I'd love to do that, and I love having a young audience. This is young. I think you have some oldsters, too, because I also know some oldsters that are listening and watching. But it's about the American dream. Right now, you don't have the American dream. We have a country that's not respected, a country that's being laughed at, a country that just a little while ago we're having a stock market explosion in a negative way as opposed to a positive way. And that's been happening for quite a while. It's been simmering and really happening for quite a while. And we're going to make this country so strong and so great. And when you're ready for your job, you're going to get a great job, so you can make the kind of money this guy's making, maybe even more if that's possible. Right?
I'm trying to get like you, boss.
But you'll love your life and you'll be successful. And at a young age, it's really wonderful to think about the American dream. And with Kamala and Joe, I took him out. We had a debate, and the debate didn't go so well for him. And they sort of. What they did, it was really a coup of somebody. He had 14 million votes. He had it, and all of a sudden they went to him and they said, "We don't want you running anymore." And it's sort of like a prize fight from my standpoint. Here, you're focused on this one man,
right,
and all of a sudden you're fighting somebody else. But she's actually worse than he is, and you're starting to see that. I think people are going to see that it's going to be very evident. So go out. We want the American dream. We're going to give you the American dream, and you're going to be real happy. Thank you.
So there you have it. I mean, obviously, for the young women who only care about abortion and like LGBT or something, not all of them, obviously, but there is that demographic. Democrats have those voters on lock. I mean, obviously, like they're not going to move anytime soon. But, for the young men who do care about this stuff, and by the way, some young women, yes, absolutely. But I think of like the frat guys, the business majors who do care about their future American dream and aren't voting on stuff like climate change or abortion, they're already going to vote for Trump. It's just a matter of turning them out. So I'm glad to see that Trump is spending a little bit. You don't have to spend all your energy, but a little bit of energy on this. And of course, glad to see Barron Trump involved now in advising his father, because I'm telling you, that kid's very smart. That kid is the future. That said, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.